Good evening. Welcome to Lollygagging Games and our one-shot Discworld game. This is planned to be one of a pair of linked one-shots, with the other one being played on the Adventures in Lollygagging Twitch channel Saturday. The Saturday after this is due to be aired. We will be using the quick start rules from the Discworld Adventures in Ankh-Morpork Kickstarter. The Kickstarter itself finished a month ago. I believe late pledges will be a thing. If they aren't already. For clarity, I have created some additional characters using the quick start pregens as inspiration, and these are the characters being played tonight. So if they don't work, we know why. Links to the channel's Discord, etc., will be in the post description below. And I'm Richard. I am the Discworld Master for tonight. So let's meet the cast.
So am I going first, yeah?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so I'm Andy. I am playing Constable Mighty Praiseworthy. Mighty Praiseworthy are ye who exalteth Omnium. And I am a very devout Omnian who is built like he should be a very old-fashioned Omnian and wandering around and giving everyone the choice of worship Omnium in the correct way or feel the edge of my sword. I'm very big and very, very pious.
Hi, I'm B. I'm playing Constable Stop, who's a pigeon, an awakened pigeon, far too intelligent than he has every right to be. From Seepage, from the Unseen University, and he was made into a constable after narrowly being shot by Sergeant Angua, and is now a traffic officer for the watch, naturally.
Of course.
Dash. Me or David? Okay. Right, I'll go. Hi, I'm Dash. My character is called Halek. I've just recently joined the Watch, and I've been inspired by a fellow recruit called Cherry Littlebottom, and how they are being openly female. I was at first disgusted by this, but now I'm curious, and I've decided to experiment with my own gender and be openly female myself. And I don't go anywhere without my precious dwarf bread, which is bread that you don't eat, you just have with you, and it keeps you sustained by just having it with you. And that's my character. I'm just a forensic specialist as well. Should probably throw that in there.
Right, my name's David. I am playing Constable Big Jock, who is a Knack MacFeagle, who is following in the tiny footsteps of the gnome Buggy Swires, and joined the Watch, possibly to escape his kilder, who was probably suspicious of what he was up to. He is nominally the door breacher, the muscle of the group, despite his height of only 6 inches.
Cool. I'm Nick. I am playing Sergeant Maroy, who is a vampire but drinks coffee instead of blood, and I believe she joined the Watch to escape her batty father.
Nice. Cool. Okie dokie. I was going to say something about Big Jock, and I can't remember. Oh, that's it. Knack MacFeagles, for those not familiar, and if you're not familiar with what a Knack MacFeagle is, read more Terry Pratchett. That's what I say. But Knack MacFeagles are also known as Pictsies, P-I-T-C-T-S-I-E-S, i.e. they are pixies who've seen entirely too much Braveheart. So, the deeps of space. Nothing is here. Even asteroids and stellar gases avoid this part of the vacuum, mainly because the laws of physics are mere suggestions here. Except, coming into view is the face of a massive star turtle, and balanced on the back are 4 massive elephants. On the back of those is the disc, a flat, wheel-shaped world pierced through the centre by the hub mountains and the godly plain of Dun Manifestin. Zooming in closer, we reach the plains of Stolat, then travel south through fields and fields and fields of cabbages. We reach the city of Ankh-Morpork, the oldest and largest city on the disc, and the home to the Tower of Art of the Unseen University for Wizards. The city of Ankh-Morpork is a riot, not because of vibrant nightlife, the upbeat music and the colourful banners, but because at any given time there are 3 people beating up a 4th, and a wagon is upside down and on fire. It's a place where the person you meet in the street is just as likely to mug you as to say hello. If they do mug you, however, do try to get a receipt, as that is tax deductible. Winding his way through the chaos with the indifferent ease of one accustomed to the city, cut-me-own-throat dibbler made his way through the snow towards the Plaza of Broken Moons to set up his sausage in a bun stall, after his last money-making scheme went predictably wrong. It seemed the disc was not yet ready for coal-fired slippers. This morning, he had been unable to procure his normal named meat. In some cases, those names were etched onto name tags found in the sausage. He had been forced to ransack the dumpsters behind the dwarven restaurants. Wouldn't be the first time he'd resorted to rat scraps. Fade to the watch house. As you stand in the watch house, the vaguely human-shaped form of Lance Constable Nobby Nobbs, leaning against the Hog's Watch decorated rostrum, smoking a roll-up. Once the last of the squad is in attendance, he stubs out his smoke and tucks the remaining cigarette behind one grubby ear. The commander sent me to pass on the ear-roll bashing he got from the patrician, Veterinari. Apparently, Veterinari had the Arch-Chancellor complaining, see. Says a book went missing from the library. The librarian was so beside himself, he's been put off his bananas. As a result, Mr. Vimes has given you 3 objectives. 1. Find the spellbook. 2. Bring the thief to justice. And 3. Don't get turned into an aardvark. Well, get on with it then. And he lights up his cigarette again.
Does anyone know what an aardvark is?
Probably not. Probably not even Nobby Knobs.
I feel that this is some sort of ungodly creature that we should avoid becoming. And please can I also remind you that despite any introductions you may have heard to the country, the world is round. It is not a disc floating on the back of elephants, floating on the back of a turtle or whatever such rubbish you hear. The world is round. It is very simple, and it goes round the sun. It orbits the sun. Just want to remind you of that. I have leaflets if you need written evidence.
I think Constable Jock is sniggering quietly in the corner.
I think Hylick's sniggering as well, but because she doesn't believe him.
Okay, so what do you want to be doing? What's your first stage?
Oh, Big Jock will go say, right, should we find the clues? Right, yeah. We should we're the library. Yeah, that's where the deed was done.
I assume this is the library at the Unseen University, as there was mentions of a spell book.
That was correct, yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, nasty.
Well, hold on. You can do it, Hylick. Well, boys, I feel that maybe the library would be a good place to start. You know, books are in libraries.
Hey.
No problem.
Let's head to the library then.
Yeah,
No
problem.
To the university.
It doesn't take you very long. You leave the watch house. There's a pair of civilians complaining to the desk sergeant about someone who's conned them out of some money. Once you step out into the plaza just outside the watch house, you step into the crisp snow of Hogswatch. Well, I say crisp. It's somewhat more muddy and brown and smear. Well, to be honest, it's a bit like you guys because you are the Watch, members of the Ankh-Morpork City Watch, and for 38 Ankh-Morpork dollars a month, you are the thin brown smear that stands between the fine, upstanding citizens of Ankh-Morpork and, well, other members of the citizenry of Ankh-Morpork. And looking out, you see the throng of people looking questionable, mostly. Some of them bustling around, doing their shopping. And as you work your way through towards the Unseen University, the massive, huge, improbable Tower of Art, a beacon to anyone who wants to get towards that part of town. It's not particularly. As I say, it's very cold. But you make it there. You can get up to the door. There are a couple of guards there who've been hired of late. A couple of trolls. What can we do you for? Sorry, what can we do for you?
Come to find book. Philip.
We're with the Watch. Is it a
Did you
small
hear that?
voice? Oi, you up there! Big job.
Hello, boys! Hello, boys! Down here!
I can see 3 of you. Where's the other voices coming from?
I will run up his trouser.
No problem.
I'm here.
I've got something in my trousers, and his hand plunges down to try to grasp.
Oh, good God, someone please wash him.
Ah, good. No, please.
The other one looks towards his friend with a look of... He's somewhat exasperated. It's a look of, oh my God, you're so stupid. And then he goes, there are 3 of them, and there are 2 ghosts, you idiot. I didn't know they were employing undead watch members. What are you here for? Stop putting your hands down the trousers. You're on duty.
There's been a robbery in the library.
There is?
Investigated.
So, better call the watch.
We are the Watch.
Oh, that's convenient. You'll go in then. Yeah,
Here is
it's the door.
my badge.
Oh,
Please read it.
he takes it. Thank you very much.
I have it back. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
These are for you, though, and I should give them each a pamphlet.
Oh, thank you. He looks at it and starts eating it. Bit pappy.
Oh, that's the best use of those pamphlets I've seen yet.
Stepping into the Unseen University itself, it's a lot warmer. The fires are lit. You can see that there are a number of members of faculty and also a few students of the Unseen University wandering around doing varying things. Most of the faculty are just sitting and drinking, actually, in like an open sort of faculty area, looking at the students with the normal disdain that they do. And a lot of the students are rushing around doing last minute projects, or a couple of them are hanging hot stockings from the manifold fires in this area. One of them comes over. Oh, can we help?
Aye, we've run the Watch.
Oh, a Feagle.
Missing book.
Oh, sure. Come with me. I haven't seen a Feagle in person. Would you mind if, once you're off duty, obviously, we have you over and we can do some investigations and sort of really check out what a Feagle is properly?
No.
Excuse me.
Oh, wonderful.
He's a member of our team. We don't treat him like that. It's an experiment.
Aye. Like the Missy says.
You're lucky he's not biting your toes off.
Oh, let's go this way. He gestures up.
So I think we shall.
No problem. Scene change. You are in the library. The student has disappeared off post haste.
Just before he disappears, I shall just say to him, in case you decide that your life would be better spent in other ways, please read this. And I shall give him a pamphlet.
No problem.
Whilst the Omnian is distracting him, the big jock will just make sure that their coin purse is safe and that the contents are secured.
Absolutely, no problem. Let's actually use this to make a dice roll. So, what traits do you have? The way this game works is you have a bunch of traits. There are the only number on the entire character sheet is the amount of luck points that you have, and I will explain what the luck points are for. Everything else is a trait. Your name is a trait. The organization you work for or are linked to is a trait. Everything is a trait. You pitch a trait to describe why you should have a better chance to do what you're doing. If you have a trait that is negative, the game does kind of rely on you being honest and saying, I have this other trait, which could be a problem. So what trait do you think would be appropriate?
I think I'm going to go with one of his quirks, the cross step to anywhere.
Okay.
He's going to try to use his mystical abilities to move unseen.
No problem. So for those not familiar, the crawl step is the Feegle ability to transport himself to other places. Behind this guy's what purse is possible. I don't think it's a very exact thing, as in small detail. So I'm not going to give you a detail. But I based on what your pitch is, I tell you what dice type to roll. D4 being it's really not in your wheelhouse and it's not a good fit. D12 being this is exactly right. I would say it would be D12, but I'm going to bring it down to a D10 because short range is probably not as good. So you roll yours, I roll mine, and you've got to beat my dice roll. So I roll the D8, which is the narrativian dice.
Okay, I get a 6 on my D10.
No problem. I got a 2, so you beat me. Those of you trying to keep an eye on your little Feegle friend, see him literally stand up, one leg just almost 90 degrees from his body, and then he steps forward and vanishes. And then the next time you sort of see him a second or two later, kind of sidestepping around the leg of this student with a pouch that he's sort of emptying. Yeah.
In my pocket, says.
We really need to put a bell on Big Jock.
Ooh.
But the student takes the thing, looks at it, goes, "Oh, that looks interesting," and wanders off with it. And from inside the library, you hear a ook, and the orange form of the librarian, an orangutan, knuckles towards you. Ook.
We're here for the book. That's what's gone missing.
Ook. And
Yes,
sort of
book.
turns to Hayalek with gives. If it wasn't for the fact that this is an orangutan, you think this would be a very old-fashioned look. Turns and knuckles in a particular direction, looking back if you don't follow, basically leading you into a certain particular part of the library.
Oh, do you think I offended him?
Difficult to tell, really.
I know. Oh, well.
I shall obediently follow the librarian.
Rest of you following as well, or?
I, for a second, stick my leg out 90 degrees in front of me and wonder why I can't teleport.
It's all in the ankle.
Well, at least I'm good at makeup.
Aye, very pretty.
As Hirlik does that and sort of lands, slightly awkward, and the clack of the iron stiletto heel that Hirlik has literally spot welded to the bottom of her boot, hitting the Is it a kitten heel or is it a full 6-inch stiletto?
Oh, 6 inch. He's a dwarf. He has to get some height.
Tall as I am.
Yeah.
Lethal, that's a lethal weapon as well.
Yeah.
It's probably another good reason for it. No problem. You follow the librarian, who doesn't at all seem phased by the fact that you have a pigeon wandering around. Is Stop doing anything particular?
Stop has grown up around the Unseen University and spent most of his chickhood reading. So I think he probably knows the library quite well and probably even knows the librarian. Though being a pigeon and all pigeons look the same, he just assumes that the librarian is nice to pigeons. I think Stop is just going to land on the shoulder of someone, probably Sergeant Mariah, because so far she's been quite quiet, watchful, and just land on her shoulder and go along for the ride for now.
Cool. Yeah.
So the librarian leads you all toward a particular set of books, and as you approach this bookshelf, you can see that there are a good dozen books around one particular rostrum, and these books are excitable. They're rattling in their chains because all of these books are chained to their respective book shelves, and there's one rostrum with an empty space and chains just hanging from it. The rostrum itself, the shelf, the little thing, the book holder that this book was obviously on, looks like this is the first time it's seen the light of the library for a good long while. And the librarian looks at you, looks pointedly at this empty book holder. Ook.
Why were the books chained down?
Ook.
Stop him getting away, obviously. Silly question, really.
I don't think the librarian's going to be able to answer that, to be honest. That's the answer's the book.
I'll look at the librarian. They're dangerous then.
Ook.
So I take it
If
this is
you're
where
not fast enough.
this is where the stolen book is from, yes?
Ook.
Right, everyone stand back, and then like whips off his hat, pulls his hair into a ponytail, is suddenly in a pantsuit and has really severe like I'm serious makeup on, and goes, right, I'm going to use my forensic skills now, everyone. Don't touch anything.
Luke, the librarian looks at the ground and goes, "Look," and then lifts a foot up. Puts the foot down, lifts another foot up. There's a almost a spark, almost a cartoon sort of light bulb, and he kind of shuffles over to a nearby shelf that's not that bunch of shelves and kind of climbs up using all four.
I shall follow the librarian and say to him, I assume you like reading books. Maybe you'd find this interesting. And hand him a pamphlet.
Takes it, looks at it, sort of quick flick. Shamble whilst Herlick's doing what he's doing, or whatever, or she's doing rather, and what everyone else is doing, what they're doing, quickly sort of scampers over to a section of the bookshelf and slots it neatly with a bunch of other pamphlets of Ulm.
I'm going to go and read the section of pamphlets of Ulm, actually.
No problem.
Quite the collection you got there.
Ook. So, while Helix, I'll get to Helix in a moment. What are Moroi and Big Jock and Stop doing?
Well, I don't want to step on Herlick's toes, so I'll stay back. But can I check the section and see if, is this is there a certain section? Are these all a certain kind of book?
There aren't.
Just all being magic.
Unlike a public library, there aren't like mystery
No Dewey Decimal
fiction.
System.
No, but
Alphabetical order.
possibly. They all look to be. There's a lot of books around and a lot of fancy books around. these books, almost to a one, have got a very spiky vibe to the covers. Lots of leather, well, skin of something, and bone and all that sort of theme on these books. And every now and again, one of them crackles like a purplish light, almost like a spark of electricity playing across it.
Okay.
Don't touch the books. They ate a friend of mine once. They'll get you if they're not fast enough.
Okay.
The librarian
Especially
quickly
that one with the electricity. I heard it's a shocking read, guys.
No.
The librarian shambles over quickly, grabs something from another shelf and sort of tips out some seed and sort of holds it out in front of Stop.
Stop immediately. Just turns into pigeon and starts eating.
Ook. Big Jock.
Big Jock. I'm going to keep away from those that pedestal. It looks dangerous. He's going to start scouting. He's going to start wandering around this area of the library, and taking advantage of his great height of 6 inches, is going to pay close attention to the ground and looking for footprints or scuff marks or anything that might be a clue.
No problem. So we'll start off with here. Look, would you like to pitch a trait that you think would be appropriate in this particular case?
Well, strangely enough, I'm going to pitch forensic specialist.
Thought you might. Obviously, this is really within your wheelhouse, so roll a D12. I have rolled a 5.
Oh, I got a 5 as well.
Okay, so what this means is this is a tie. So I will go through the basics of that, and then I'll mention another thing which is related to this, continuing to sort of go through the rules. Not that there are many of them. So if we stick with it as a tie, you succeed, but you get a consequence in the same way as if you had failed.
Okay.
So you get the benefit, but you also get the downside. One option that exists is you have luck points. What luck points can do 2 things. One, you can spend them to reduce the level of consequence. So if I tell you it's a major consequence, you can spend a luck point to bring it down to a minor consequence. The other option is someone can choose to help you. They describe how they're helping you. They pitch a trait of their own. I assign a dice to them, and then they roll that dice against exactly the same thing as I've just rolled, so that it's the same target number. It's still 5. The downside is that the consequences are increased 1 step. So if it was a minor consequence to begin with, it goes up to a major consequence.
Okay.
For both of you. So how do you guys want to handle it? Are you going to stick with the tie, or are you going to try to help one another?
I'm happy to assist you if you need an assist.
Oh, thank you, Sergeant Moreau. You do know you have a pigeon on your shoulder, don't you?
It's not
Do I?
Stop. It's a different pigeon now.
Random.
So how are you going to help?
Well, so I am virtually indestructible. So I will come over and maybe try and protect Hurlick from the purple coruscating electricity. Just maybe shield you from that.
Okay. This is not quite to the same extent of appropriate as what Hurlick was using, but I'll give you a D10 because I can see what you're trying to do there. And again, you need to go over a 5 as well.
A 9.
Okay, perfect, no problem. So Sergeant Moreau comes over, and whereas you're trying to do your job, and you're kind of getting a bit close to this coruscating energy because you're trying to get all the information you can. Yeah, probably sort of skirting around the edge, but Moreau kind of moves close enough so she's between it and there's a few sparks of purple energy.
Or my hair goes like on end.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it's fine.
No problem. And so you successfully check that area for issues. You can see that as you look around, there is a large padlock with runes carved all over it that's on the ground nearby. The chains have obviously clearly been unlocked. There is a hat, a pointy hat, just behind that book stand, that book rest. The floor itself is fairly clean, so not much in the way of boot prints or footprints or anything like that. Is there anything particular you were looking for?
No, just a general look of the area, really.
No problem. So that happens once Stop has finished with the seeds that he preferred her or them. Is it he, her, they, them?
I think it's he. It says
Okay.
he on the thing, so yeah.
No problem. Once he's finished the seeds that once Stop has finished the seeds that the librarian offered, the librarian kind of moves back over towards Sergeant Moreau, kind of rubs one large hand over his fur, and then just kind of boops Moreau on the nose, and the hair kind of just back down again.
Thank you.
Ook.
Oh, what a shame! You have such volume and bounce in your hair, Sergeant Moreau.
And what's happened to the random pigeon? Is that fried?
That's just
It's like,
cooked. Yeah,
it's
that's
done.
cooked.
The feathers are kind of somewhat smoking slightly.
Yeah. Cool.
And then sort of flies off somewhat, not so aerodynamic.
Wicked.
With what Herlick said, the librarian kind of head to one side, slopes over, hand on a shelf, and boops Herlick's nose. Ook.
Oh, thank you. Has anyone got a mirror?
So, what do you want to do now?
I was looking around outside of the immediate area.
Yeah.
See if there's any clues.
Okay. Beyond what Herlick has found, you're not finding anything obvious. Although, with that hat, that seems to suggest someone who is either a witch or a wizard. And since you're in the Unseen University, wizard seems more likely. So you might be able to get a bit more information from either the Arch-Chancellor or possibly the Bursar.
And you say the padlock had runes on it?
Yes, carved runes all over it.
Are these like common runes or?
Oh no, it's magic.
Magic
with a K.
Oh, definitely looks like we need to find a wizard or witch. Do any of you know any magic? I personally only know the magic of femininity.
Behind Herlick, the librarian goes, Ook.
There's lots of wizards in the Unseen University proper.
Aye.
Probably go there. Lots of students and whatnot.
I shall turn to the librarian in the full expectation that he can actually speak properly, and say to him, "Do you know which wizard last read this book?"
Ook knuckles over to another area where another massive tome, but this one is not chained, and kind of flicks it open and starts flicking through the pages. Ook.
I shall wander over.
Ook. Ook. And it points. One finger comes down on the page, and there's
Who's he
a
pointing
name.
at?
It comes up with a name. He says, quickly trying to find his list of names that he provided, that the ref organised. before the game started and now can't find it. Because that would be helpful. Always in the other book. Especially when you allow for this. Apologies. Something here somewhere. No, that's something else. Damn it. Prune. Prune, the wizard. Yep. And the date, it was the century of the itchy cockroach.
So how long ago is that?
Several hundred years.
Oh, I thought this was going to be a useful clue. It appears to be of no use whatsoever.
Sounds very much an apologetic ook.
And the book has been on that pedestal waiting for someone to read it ever since.
Ook.
Is it interesting that it's not been put back on a shelf? I just say aloud to everyone else. Oh, he goes, no, okay.
There's an array of them, I think, isn't there?
Ook.
Especially the special ones.
Ook.
Yeah, there you go.
What does it say the title of the book is in the record?
The title in the record is an unpronounceable sort of array of letters. A really, really good hand at Scrabble if you could use a name. Lots of consonants and not many vowels.
Well, as a diligent member of the Watch, I shall take out my notepad and piece of charcoal to write with, and I shall copy down the name.
Walk. Goes over to his desk, comes back bearing a mug, and on the mug is the legend, best librarian in the library. Then he realizes, turns it around, and the other side says, words have power.
Okay. Luckily, as I've written it down, I've misjudged the number of letters, and I've got to the end of the page, and then I have to continue on the line below.
No problem.
That's a good idea. Rewrite the book, then we don't have to find it.
I think that might be a little difficult.
Oh, I suppose we better find it then.
Sounds to me like it must be a lawyer. Words have power, yes? Nasty things, lawyers.
Only Om has true power.
He's a lawyer then?
No, he's a god. The one and only god.
There's only one lawyer. Oh no, I've seen lots of lawyers. Usually cheap ones.
A god of lawyers. Never heard such a thing.
Very dangerous. Very, very complicated words.
Right. So I'll let someone else do something.
So I'll pick up the padlock then if it's got runes on it, so we can take it with us. And now I'm back in my guard's uniform, ready to leave.
No problem.
Well, come on, boys. Maybe we should go to the place the pigeon said. You know, what the pigeon said.
The university, the unseen university proper. Yeah,
That's it. Yes.
Oh, come on then.
Isn't this university proper then?
No, it's just the library.
It's the library within the university.
What do you mean? Stop flies off.
Has anyone picked up the hat yet?
Not I'm aware of.
I can
Right,
drag it along.
I shall pick up the hat, and I shall look inside it to see if it has a name tag.
Name tag.
Property of.
Yeah. I'm going to roll the dice. If I roll above a 6, then there's a name in it. And then I drop the dice. That's helpful. There's no name in it, but there is a brand tag. It is Deseret and Sons Clatch.
The hat comes from Clatch, a godless place, nearly as godless as this place.
Sounds just up my street. Maybe we can go there after we see the university proper.
Well,
I'm sure you're up for that, big jock.
Aye.
Godless place. With fashion.
Oh, don't know about that.
if the hat has come from Clatch, I would suggest that the owner is also from Clatch.
Or maybe it's from a shop. I hear they have those things. We could look around all the hat shops.
The one selling
Pointy
hats
hats.
from Clatch, pointy hats from Clatch. That is a good idea.
Right, let's go find a wizard and see if he can recognize anything.
The librarian points to the door and goes, "Ook."
Ah. Took me for luck. Thanks. Right, let's go. Starts charging out.
No problem. My imagination is seeing Big Jock getting to the doors first. These massive, huge, solid wooden doors, and just going, push it, slam. Out he goes.
Yeah. Possibly kicking him. He does like to put the boot in.
You get out of the library. There are a number of wizards wandering around.
I will run up and grab the first one. All right, you! Big job! See them? They got a lock thing. Runes on it. Can you read them? Make yourself useful.
Looks around. You're not sure whether he's out looking, as in asking for help, or wanting to see what this mad little blue man is wittering about.
I will scamper up to his shoulder.
It's not very far because you literally grabbed him and pulled him to the floor. He's kind of lying there with a.
I'm just point his face in the right direction. That one! I'm pointing at, I think, Hylerk. You had the look, didn't you?
Big jock, stop manhandling people. He's so rambunctious for 6 inches.
I believe
That's average for a male.
I believe the proper term is person handling. Do you display this lock, the padlock?
Yeah, as long as the person's willing to. Got so pixie clung onto their face.
Looks at it and goes, they're protective runes. Look mostly to be using March's marching spell, which is it's meant to protect whatever is being locked in to prevent it from getting out, rather than being something keeping things out from a place, if you know what I mean. Can I stand up now?
Either way, it hasn't done its job properly, has it?
I jumped out.
Yes.
Normally that kind of thing. If you've got Nikon's opening spell, then that's something that might undo that. It looks to be quite a complicated one. You might want to speak to the Arch-Chancellor. He's more aware of some of the things that are that kind of thing. I'm only a 6th year.
You're only 6. You're only tall for 6. Still wee bears.
No, Big Jock. He's been at university for 6 years.
Oh.
How long do you go to this university for?
The record is 40 years. That was a wizard called Rincewind. I don't know where he is at the moment. Last I heard, he was in Forex.
Did he keep failing his classes? Was he a simpleton?
Well, between us, I heard that he had a spell in his head from one of the books with a word that is laden in weight. The letters of the word he speaks are capitalized. They're almost the same kind of heavy Gothic script that you hear Death speaking, if you speak to Death. And the spell in his head scared any of the spell from staying, so he couldn't do couldn't get past any of the exams.
Oh, this is a tragic story, isn't it? Have you seen Death lately? Has he been around?
No, we did have, I think it was last year, we had a just to test our ritual abilities, we did the ritual of Ash Kente. But I don't think I'll be doing that again because he wasn't very impressed.
Well, sorry, I've digressed. We're looking for a book, so I must focus.
He points to the library.
We're looking for a wizard
lad.
without a hat.
Aye.
He says,
Yeah.
so looking up self-consciously, snatching his hat from the floor where it fell and stuffing it back on his head. That would be that's a major
The
faux pas.
suspects have narrowed. Is there lots of wizards around?
Yes.
Can Constable
Are they all
stop
hatless?
fly up into the air and find one without a hat?
Yeah. Who looks like he might have been in the shop and bought a hat recently.
No problem. Stop launches from Morroy's shoulder, because I'm guessing you've gone back to there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Flutters around. There are a couple of cries of, "Get that bloody pigeon out of the..." Oh, sorry, stop. Didn't recognise you. Your badge was... Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got a big badge on his, like, it's just oversized, obviously.
On his chest.
Yeah, it's it's the only thing on him. It's a chain and a giant badge on his chest that when he puffs his chest out, it just gleams.
Like a breastplate.
Yep.
It also doubles up as his armor. Yeah.
No problem. Looking around, you don't see any obvious wizards without hat. There are a couple that you top of head, there's no hat there, and then you notice there's a hat beside them, or they're sort of, one of them's talking. There's a student talking to one of the faculty, and he's kind of sort of nervously sort of screwing up his hat whilst he's talking to, or whilst the faculty member is talking to him. But you don't see anyone here without a hat of their own.
I fly back to Morroy.
Any
Find
luck?
one.
He said we need to see the Chancellor about this book, the old spell.
If we do, Big Jock, please don't grab them by the face.
Not promising nothing.
Stop. How do we find the Chancellor?
I'll go.
He's it's the one with the biggest hat, obviously.
I shall look round for one with the biggest hat.
No. The student says he'll probably be in his office.
Yeah, he'll probably be in his office. Mighty.
Where's his office?
See that corridor over there? It's the one next to it. Go down the corridor, do 2 lefts, a right, go underneath the statue of
I've got my notepad and I'm writing these instructions down word for word.
No problem. No problem. He goes through a convoluted set of instructions. There's a statue that tipped over about 5 years ago, and it's wedged itself, so everyone just ducks their head underneath it because it's easier than moving the damn thing. And he describes the route to the office. And you can make your way there. Is there anything you want to do beforehand, or anyone do, apart from obviously Big Jock, who's just raced off in a random direction? Is there anything anyone else wants to do, or should we just go straight to the office?
On the way to the office, I want to keep an eye out for somewhere I can get a decent coffee.
Okay. As you're going along, you go past a sort of a kitchen area that's for the faculty.
Nice. Yeah, that'll do. I'll duck in and just quickly brew myself there's somebody's mug. There's somebody's mug in there. Yeah.
No problem. Mara goes in, makes a coffee, wanders out, and then notices what's written on the mug, and probably has a slight hiss, which is Daddy's Little Sunshine.
Damn. Yeah, I just get napkins.
No problem.
If this appears to be some sort of refectory area, then I shall leave a little pile of pamphlets for those who might find them interesting.
Yeah.
You can hear Jock harassing all the students as he goes, quickly sort of working on the principle of ask each one what the next turn is, sort of thing.
No problem. So you guys get to the office of the Arch-Chancellor, Brid Cully. What do we think for Big Jock? What do you think is an appropriate trait for him to find what he's looking for?
Ooh, good question.
Something to do with intimidation?
It's going to scare him into existence.
Well, I have.
It's going to scare the students into telling him the right way.
Yes. I have the trait of being the door breacher. So it works on the principle of him going around kicking in doors until he finds the right one.
Okay. I am going to say I don't think that's particularly relevant, so I'll give you a D6.
Sounds fair.
And I will be honest with you, I just rolled a 7 on the D8, so
I got a 4.
no problem.
Who did I upset?
His legs are getting tired. Poor legs.
Okay, so let's see what consequence. It's not going to be a major consequence, but it's not going to be inconsequential either, which will seem to be a bit of an odd one for me. But there we go. I think you've got put the on the bottom of your character sheet. Put the consequence of what would it be? Trying to get the word. I lose words, so apologies on that.
Oh, I know the
Words are hard, and my wife isn't here to tell me what I'm thinking. Let's say you're. There's a lot of suspicious. There's a lot of people suspicious of you because there's a little blue man. And there's a couple of students chasing after you, trying to catch you in the hat.
Right, I'll put under suspicion.
No problem. No problem. So you're busy for this scene doing that.
Getting into trouble.
Yeah, no problem. So the rest of you get to the office, and I'm assuming someone knocks on the door.
Sure.
Enter.
Enter. I shall open the door.
No problem.
Big Jock, we found him.
Hey, wait a minute.
No,
No, it wasn't me.
So it's quite a large set man, reasonably average, sort of slightly longer than normal beard, not quite as long as this. Big pointy hat on, wooden staff lent up into the corner with a knob on the end, and another slightly, a much thinner, more nervous-looking chap standing beside the desk. Can I help you?
I thought we were
Officers.
here to help you. Oh, I'm confused now. We're
Is
here to
that
find a
young
book.
Is that young Stop?
Hello. We come from the library. We're looking for a book. And a wizard without a hat.
I shall hold the hat up.
And this chain was attached to it. The chain
The
was
book,
attached
the
to
book,
it.
not the hat.
Yes.
There's a moment of sort of disconnected things that seem which ones fit with what kind of going through their brain. Oh yeah. Oh yes, the one I spoke to veterinary about. Yes. That's bad news. It's one of the dangerous spell tomes, which is why it's chained down. Right.
Well, was chained down, you should probably say, as it's not chained anymore.
Again, gives you a somewhat old-fashioned look. Bertha, do you recognize the hat? The nervous-looking man sort of holds his hand out towards.
We've
Mikey.
deduced it came from a shop.
Before I hand over to the bursar, I shall just look to check that both he and the Arch-Chancellor each have their own hat.
They each have a hat.
Sorry, yes, they each have a hat. I shall hand it over to the bursar then.
No problem. He looks at it, sort of runs his hand up the side, feels the sort of the exterior covering, looks inside.
It is made in Clatch.
Yes. I think this belongs to Dorian Al-Atha. He is a foreign exchange student.
Dorian Al-Atha.
Yes.
Is he from Clatch?
He is.
Where I need people from Clatch would have a name that sounds like you sneezed.
Let us
yes.
not be unfriendly to foreigners.
He's not
yeah,
here.
It is not a good thing to be rude to foreigners, because he'd be rude to most of the city.
Not rude to Big Jock, and he's a little blue man.
As a character, can you remember? Ulm and Clatch are not the same. They're different countries, aren't they?
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I couldn't remember.
Sorry, it's no problem. Yes, Dorian Al-Atha is. His father is a high-ranking Clatchian, and he got him into here as a student. Better than some we've had.
Do you know why he'd be interested in this book?
No, he's a third year. He's barely handling thalmic resonances. We got
His hat was found next to the chains.
that's odd.
Was it there when you noticed that the book was missing?
I was told by the librarian.
Okay.
Turns to the bursar. What do you know about Al-Atha? He is one of the few students with private lodgings. His family are, as mentioned, Clatchian nobility. I believe he stays at Mrs. Ethan's boarding house in Nintendo Way in Dimwell.
Sorry, can you just say that again? Sorry, that was where?
Sorry,
Nintendo Way.
Nintendo Way in Dimwell.
And sorry, what was the name of the boarding house?
Mrs. Ethan's boarding house.
Really, it looks like.
What time of
we're
day
on
is it? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be by now lunchtime-ish.
And where should the third-year trainee wizard Doran Al-Atha be at this time of day?
He should be in his lessons. I think it's potions today, says the bursar. But according to his, he waves a hand, and kind of out of those robes comes a scroll which unscrolls with sparkliness. And according to his tutors, he is not here today. And waves a hand, it kind of scrolls back up and slides back into his robes. There's a sharp crack and a smell of burning, and he kind of... sorry.
Oh, this is
think we should-
suspicious, isn't it?
I think we should go to Mrs. Ethan's boarding house at Nintendo Way in Dimwell.
Perfect.
I think Big Jock bursts in at that point. I'm here. What have I missed?
The bursar jumps. And if anyone is actually looking where the bursar is when he's finished jumping, he's currently holding on to one of the decorative sort of columns, and he's about 2 feet above the ground, grasping this thing.
When he yelps, my sword comes out. What is it?
Calm down,
Together.
bursar. Take one of your pills.
It's all right, Big Jock. Perfect timing. We're off to Nintendo Way.
Ah, right. Where's that?
It's Dimwell.
Dimwell. Ooh, not the classiest place. Very well.
The bursar kind of mutters under his breath, saying, "More book, what do you expect?"
I shall go and help the bursar down from where he's leapt in fright and say quietly to him, you seem like a man who is in need of God, and give him a pamphlet. But I'm not going. I can see that the Arch Chancellor is someone I'm not going to say that.
Oh, I dare you.
He takes without it's obvious he's not entirely doing this with any kind of thought. He takes the pamphlet, but he's also taking the dried frog pill that the Arch Chancellor is preferring him. Okay. No problem. So you head towards the boarding house.
We just to say I've taken back the hat.
Sure. Yeah. So you start moving your way back through again. Scene change. You're outside of Mrs. Ethan's boarding house. I will say, as a ref, I'm doing scene changes more than I would do. Normally, I'd run through and describe, but obviously, we're on a slightly tight timeline to get the story done by the end of the evening. Mrs. Ethan's boarding house is a relatively normal mid-terrace house, 2.5 stories. I say 2.5 because there's ground floor, there's another floor, and then there's kind of a jutting out on one side is another sort of probably 1 or 2 rooms on what would be a 3rd story. And a brass plaque outside which says Roma's Pet Cemetery, and there's a massive gouge being carved through it, and Ethan's boarding house has been scrawled over the top.
I shall stride forward purposely and knock on the door.
No problem. The door opens with a rather rotund sort of little man. He's about 5 foot and about the same tall, and sort of the almost but not quite the monk's tonsure haircut, but you think it's natural, not an actual fashion choice. On be with you.
Ah, brother.
Oh no, there's 2 of them now.
God.
I shall speak to him in Omnian.
He responds in Omnian.
I shall then switch back to Ankh-Mokporian or whatever the language is that these guys understand.
Probably
Is this-
cabbage.
Is this you? I assume are not Mrs. Ethan.
He looks himself up and down and goes, "Not last time I checked."
very judgmental of you. He could be Mrs. whatever her name is if he wants to be.
Very
Mavis!
true.
And a whippet thin, sharp hook nose, a face that looks like she's eaten at least a jar of prunes just prior to coming out of the room that she's coming out of. Yes?
At that point, Big Jock hides behind Sergeant Maury. And you hear him muttering, "It's a hag!"
I shall say to her, we are from the City Watch, and I shall brandish my badge as a sign of sort of authority. We need to speak to one of your residents, Mr. the third year wizard, Dorian Al-Atha.
Bless you.
He will be in the university by this time.
He has not gone in today.
Oh, the other guy says, "Oh, where in could he be?" And she, "Oh, knock that rubbish off."
You should listen to him. He's a very wise man.
And someone get that dirty bird out of my establishment.
Don't
What
listen.
member of the watch I have, you know? And I stick out my chest, which has got the badge on it.
The metal thing.
There is a muffled, it's not quite a screech. There's an exclamation of surprise. Oh, apologies, officer. Oh,
Officer, stop to you.
and there's a pixie.
Aye.
That's Officer Big Jock to you.
Good day to you, a hag. No wishing, no all respects. Not gonna cause any trouble, honest.
I think that calls for a dice roll, actually. How does she take this? So, what traits do you think would be appropriate at this point? Bearing in mind you can use anything apart from the luck stat.
I think. Let's have a look.
Even down to your name.
Yes.
That's a trait as well.
It is indeed. I think I'm going to go with he is following the tiny footsteps of Buggy Swires and trying to do the right thing and be a good watchman.
Can I make the situation more complicated, please?
Oh, sure.
By
do.
saying, "What's a hag?"
Okay, so I'm going to say I was going to make it a D10 with Andy's input. I'm going to make that down to a D6.
Excellent.
Sorry.
That's
gonna be
an ugly woman.
I rolled a 4.
Okay, I rolled a 5.
Ooh.
So okay. So is anyone going to try to help, or are we just going to go for the complication?
No, I'm just doing this.
I'll try and help you, Big Jock.
So what
Is
is
it
it?
one person that helps, Richard, or can more of you help if you want to?
My understanding, because again, this is a quick start rule, so there's not a massive amount of information. I would imagine that if one person helps, they do their thing. If they fail, in theory, someone else can help. But every time someone helps, it costs a luck point, and the consequence gets worse.
Yeah.
So how is her luck helping?
So she's gonna flutter her eyes like gimlets at her, and a gimlet is a gin and tonic drink, and so I'm guessing my eyes are intoxicating. So
Okay.
I'm gonna try and distract them and make them feel more relaxed, and just fluttering my eyes at them and pushing Big Jock into someone's coat pocket.
Okay. I think this is at best going to be a D10.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's no middle ground between D6 and D10.
No, that's
because
fine.
the only person who gets to roll a D8 is me. Oh, and we seem to have
only
lost to
D10.
David.
I'm sure we'll be back.
That's 12. Oh, there it is.
Try to stay in the window.
I rolled a 10.
Okay, I rolled a 5, so you succeed. So no problem. She looks like she's about to draw herself up to all of her 5'1" and a fag end tall, and then kind of is distracted. I think she's not really. Oh, excuse me. She's not really. It's not a positive kind of a sort of fluffy look on her face, but you distract her enough, and it's kind of a okay kind of look on her face, and that kind of diffuses the thing. The larger chap whispers in Mighty's ear, "A hag is kind of like a witch." To be fair, it's not far off the mark. And then in a loud voice, would you like me to take you to his room as members of the watch?
Yes, please.
That would be very helpful, yes.
There is a something of a look from Mrs. Ethin. It's not a disagreement, it's not anger, but there's certainly a sort of almost a this is my establishment kind of look to him. But she doesn't argue, and he leads you up the stairs to the first floor, and then kind of almost like around a corner into a box room underneath the stairs. And he opens it up, and there is a bed that's been pushed in as best they can. It's wedged in there, and a few personal effects kind of around one of the more slightly more open area. It's a very strange angle.
I shall stand back, and then I shall indicate for Harlech to do some investigation.
Okay, this reminds me of a book I read once about a young wizard that lived under the stairs. But so, can you use the same thing again then? The same skill? Yeah.
Basically,
So,
you pitch your trait.
so
Okay,
get back, ladies and gents. She just blows off like finger painting powder everywhere.
no problem. I'm going to say this is going to be a D10. You're in a narrow, confined area. It's not very easy, but it is a good argument.
It's a 2.
I also got a 2, which I think seems
Narrator, stop drawing with me.
another tie. Okay, so again, does anyone want to help, or are we going to stick with the tie?
I haven't really got anything to help with investigation.
You can come up with the way that you want to help.
Okay.
Can stop help?
How does Stop want to help?
Well, Stop is a very intelligent pigeon, and I think that if he's seen Harlech do this once before, this forensic routine, and if Stop can maybe give a bird's eye perspective from the top of the room. By flying around and going, oh, you missed a bit. Oh, there's a bit over here. You missed a bit over here as well. Look, you've missed loads.
Okay, that's absolutely a thing. What trait would you like to pitch?
So it's better educated than a pigeon has any right to be, or eye in the sky. So both of those probably work.
Both of them work to different degrees. I'd say eye in the sky, if it wasn't for the small nature of the room, would be absolutely 12.
You just stood on my head.
But
that's it. I'm not flying. I'm stood on Harlech's head, looking down and going.
I'll say a D10. I'll say a D10.
Okay. That's an 8.
I rolled a 7, so no problem. You start looking around. It's quite difficult to get everywhere, and you're just kind of getting a bit distracted, and then you feel Stop land on your shoulder and say, over there and over there, and you've missed a bit. and you spend a little bit of time using hey Dave, using the information that Stop is providing, looking around.
A bit like Ratatouille,
Yeah,
with a pigeon.
Bird-a-wanny. No problem. Looking around, there's not a lot in here. The bits that are in here are quite good quality things because of this guy being a member of a nobility, foreign nobility, but a nobility nonetheless. And everything here, there's a diary, there's some paperwork that he's obviously been working on, kind of when he's doing his homework or whatever, writing ideas, all that sort of stuff. Very organized. This really looks like he is very, very serious about wizardry. There are letters from his father, him and sort of replying to letters, obviously from Dorian, where he's talking about all the things he's done, all the exams that he's passed. This individual is not a very he doesn't strike you as the kind of person who would steal something, but this is definitely his hat and is definitely suspicious. In fact, in the room you find a stack of 2 more of those hats in the corner. With your success, you also find that he has a small collection of bits and pieces. There is a receipt from several receipts from CMOT Dibbler. There's a receipt from the Thieves Guild, and there are a couple of beer mats from varying establishments, the Mended Drum being the most current one.
What's the receipt from the Thieves Guild say?
Receipt, theft, $10, and a very nice leather wallet. Crocodile skin.
So I mean, he paid them $10 to steal a wallet.
No, this is and more pork. They stole $10 and a wallet from him
and
and gave him
and left him the receipt. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know if he hired the Thieves Guild.
Claim tax on it.
Yeah. Did you say there was a receipt from the Mended Drum?
No, there's some beer mats. One of the top one was yeah.
Is it the Mended Drum what pub?
Right.
No. The Mended Drum used to be the Broken Drum before it got mended. Basically, let's see if I can find, because it's actually mentioned in the quick start. The Bucket is the Watchman's pub.
Apologies, that was me getting mixed up.
Well, if enough watchmen are in there, then it's a Watchman's pub, isn't it?
There is some truth in that.
It'll be a Watchman's pub.
Yeah.
Sorry, watch persons.
Yes. Thank you. Watch people, animals, birds, whatever.
Stop sticks his chest out. He's proud of himself.
While they're investigating the room, can I talk to Mrs. Ethan, please?
Sure. She's sort of standing there with sort of arms crossed underneath the bosom, very severe, sharp. She almost looks like she could take your eye out with her attitude.
Just in case they want to do some searching that they don't want her to see, I shall speak to her by standing right in front of her, between her and the doorway, and I am built like a brick pivot, so I shall block the doorway so she cannot see what they're doing. Just
sure.
I don't know if that's useful or not, but just in case. But I shall ask her, how good a tenant is third year wizard Dorian Alafa?
He's very good. He's father pays regular. I get 38 more pork dollars a month in rent, and as many prunes as we can
just out of character, 30 emerald dollars a month is a lot, isn't it? And
So
that
what
seems a
would you
lot of
get?
money for this tiny little room under some stairs.
This is Ankh-Morpork. It is a very prestigious address.
Yes, madam.
Besides, he was the one who suggested the amount.
The father or the son?
The father. I
Or
hear
infidels with more money than sense.
I hear he has a harem, she says, preening.
No, I'll leave it there. But I'm just sort of blocking the doorway.
No worries. What are Moroi and Big Jock doing at this point?
I think he's going to be just searching all the awkward places that he can get into that other people can't. Look
No
at
worries.
any indication of someone else having been in here, perhaps.
Given that you have muscle of the root, can you roll me a d12, please?
Ooh, excellent. Oh, not bad. 11.
I rolled a 4. You start moving through some of the smaller areas. You kind of squeeze your way between two floorboards where there's a gap about an inch thick. And you start looking around, see if you can find anything. You find a key, really old, sort of angular. See, the old ones are Chubb, aren't they? Not the Yale lock. I think the Yale lock are the more modern keys. And just as you're picking up to sort of look at it and go, oh, this could be interesting, a large rat tries to take a bite out of you. But with your dice roll, you can
with the key.
either beat it with the key or do something else.
Yeah, drive it off at least.
No problem.
Keep going, you wee vermin.
What? Are you all right down there, Jock?
Hey, anyone want any rat?
Rats. They think they own the place. They think they're the more pestilent creatures. They think they're the best vermin. They're not. It's definitely pigeons.
Mighty, here's Mrs. Ethin go. Pigeons are just rat with wings.
You are learned. It says so in the Book of Om. I am very impressed at your knowledge. You must keep listening to my fellow brother more.
His name's Edric.
What's the rat doing here anyway?
Yeah, Big Jock, are you okay, Big Jock? Did you finish beating up that rat?
I'm not doing that. The trousers are still on. You see him push a key out of the crack in the floorboards and then wriggle out after it. This looks like a clue.
Sergeant Moroi, what are you
Is
doing?
there anywhere else in this room that we haven't ransacked as yet?
Not really. I mean, you've got Hillock and Stop looking through and around the room itself, which is not massive at all. And Big Jock has just gone behind the floorboards and
Killed a rat.
through the skirting board, and there have been some squeaks of a rat, a fear of its life, and the tiny thuds of a key being battered against a rat skull.
Okay, so the Whippet woman is still here, trying to keep an eye on everything. Where's the fella gone? Has he totted off downstairs or something?
He is not currently within sight.
All right, I'm gonna just vanish out of this area and see, either is he in the kitchen. If he is, I'm going to chat to him, and if he isn't, I'm just going to make some more coffee.
He is actually in the kitchen making coffee.
Nice. Oh, perfect.
He's
Yeah, then
suddenly
I'll
appeared
go and
behind him.
Yeah, yeah. There's a mirror, but I don't reflect in it. So when he turns around, I'm like, coffee, excellent.
There's just a badge floating behind him saying the
Yeah, yeah.
No problem.
What's he called again? The guy?
He is called
Okay.
Edric.
Edric. Okay, Edric. I'll ask him.
Gee,
What do you think? Oh, hello. I'm with the watch. I show him the badge.
the watch.
Yes, the watch.
Oh, is this another part, a small part of the watch?
Sure. Oh, nice. You make coffee. Fabulous.
Oh,
Right,
hands you a
Perfect.
basically think the largest mug you can find with espresso
Hell yeah.
to the brim.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna just quiz him about this student. Right, when did he last see him? When was he here?
Yesterday morning when he went out to the university.
Okay, does he have any visitors?
No. Mrs. Ethin doesn't like visitors for our residents. She doesn't trust them, especially when they're young, if you know what I mean.
Of course. How long has Dorian stayed here?
He's been here 3 years.
And he has no visitors the whole time?
Oh no, I mean he goes out and meets people, I believe. I did see him with a bunch of other wizards last Hogwarts Eve, actually.
I see. All right, what I would like to do is just fix him with a mesmerizing stare and get him to just give me any useful information that he knows.
Okay. I'm not going to make a dice roll for it. He absolutely tells you all manner of things, some of which you really wish you didn't know anymore. You know, publications found underneath his bed by Mrs. Ethin when she was doing cleaning. You know, Wizards Weekly and Witches Weekly with the double fold spread.
Sure.
Things like that. Yeah, it's. Some of it you think is his and Mrs. Ethin's imaginations. The gossip, they kind of the things they believe, and therefore they're treating as truth.
All right. Okay, so nothing super helpful.
Unfortunately not. Mrs. The closest to useful is that Mrs. Ethin's been a little worried because he's been going around to varying public houses. And she doesn't approve of alcohol in extremes.
Of course. Thank you. And then I just glide back up to join everyone else with my giant cup of espresso.
No problem.
Just appear back at the doorway.
Okay, so what you guys doing?
I'm going to wave this key around and say, does anyone know anything about locks and things? This key looks important. It's been hidden.
Did we find a lock?
You found a padlock.
Yeah.
Ah, does it fit that?
Here you go, Big Jock. I mean, sorry. That's me up there. Here you go, Big Jock.
It's not a perfect fit, but it does work.
Oh, seems to have done something. This must be the. I'll look at the key. Does it look new or
No,
old?
no, it's old.
It is old. Wonder where he got this from. Must have got it from someone to go and undo this lock. Someone gave him this.
Or he stole it from someone.
Ah, well, yeah, possibly.
It
I wouldn't condone that, of course.
It also implies that he has come back here since he's opened the padlock.
Mm-hmm.
Aye.
Yeah, true.
Well, we
They've
did
not
find a
seen
book.
him. And they've not
Oh.
seen him at all. Hmm.
He has, so
Maybe
so
the
he
book
left.
better.
He left to go to school like yesterday. Was it yesterday morning? He went.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been back since. He's been gone
Not
like
that they've
24
seen, no.
hours.
And
Alf.
when was the book pinched?
It was this morning. It was found missing.
Right. Okay.
So he's done a flip with the book, perhaps.
Well, it does seem that young Dorian probably is involved in this, doesn't it? He's disappeared and the night he went missing.
Or all those pubs he's been going to.
What?
Maybe
What
the
were
book makes you invisible. It's a spell book after all.
I don't know.
If they didn't
But
see him,
did he steal the book for someone?
I'm just going AFK, so I can be back in a sec.
We should check all the pubs.
Yeah.
we
Aye,
could
that's a
check
great
just
idea.
a
I mean,
mended drum.
that's a fabulous idea. Yes.
You're right, Alec.
Yeah. Just need some glass, nice sherry or an alco pop.
Prosecco.
Maybe they got some
Prosecco,
peanuts.
yes.
Actually, that's a good idea. Let's go.
All right.
Aye, well, the drum was the top of the list by the look, with the
Yeah.
pile.
Yeah.
No problem.
Drum
So you're
first,
heading,
then.
Let's go there first.
no problem. So you head in that direction. You're just arriving at the drum. It doesn't take a huge amount of time to get there. The Ankh-Morpork is large, but it's not that massively large. Yeah, it's a decent sized city. Slightly, the scales are slightly skewed probably by the enormity of the Tower of Art. You're just getting to the door, toward the door, however, when you. Ooh, who would it be? I'm going to just do the people on the screen because it's easier and you're here. Here, look, you hear a voice going, "Got a sausage."
I do not.
Looking around, you're seeing the group here. There's a scrappy little dog peeing up against the wall, but you don't see anyone else. Apart from way over about 100 yards where you see Cut Me Own Throat Nibbler with his sausage in a bun stall.
Anyone else hear that?
Here what?
That's it.
I was accused of having a sausage.
Woof!
No.
Woof!
Oh,
Woof!
the doggy. Where's the doggy? I look at the one peeing.
Can we see the dog?
Looking around, yes, there is a scrappy little dog. It
Can,
was peeing up a wall, but as Jock says what he says, it kind of stops doing what it's doing, and everyone, please roll a trait that is appropriate to noticing something.
I've got eye in the sky is the most.
That's D12. That's
I'm
your
gonna go with
shtick.
the watch. It's what we do.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
watch. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you a D10 for that.
From the watch.
I got
Yeah.
9.
Okay.
I got 6.
Oh, 7.
David.
I got an 8.
Okay, I'm rolling a D8, so the maximum I can roll is 8, and I got a 3. So you look around, you see the dog. Big Jock says what he says, and you hear the dog sort of whisper in a sotto voice, "Bugger," and then it starts sort of nonchalantly moving down the alleyway, going "woof, woof."
Oi, you! You're going nowhere.
Wrestled it to the
Stop running
ground.
with the watch.
No problem. Andy, just so you know, you've arrived at the mended drum. Herlock has heard someone saying, Herlock has said that someone's accused him of having a sausage. Then there was a voice going, "Woof, woof." They looked for a dog. They saw a scrappy little dog having a pee up a wall, which then stopped. Tried nonchalantly walking down the alleyway, but everyone, Big Jock especially, started going after him. That's where we are currently. Okay, so what do you reckon would be the best trait for you to catch this dog, Big Jock?
Well, I think. Well, they have this, extreme speed, and particularly with the cross step,
Okay.
can cover distance in a blink.
Okay, I will give you a D12 for that.
Cool. I got a 6. Pretty average.
I rolled an 8.
Ooh.
So, does someone want to help, or are we going to go to a fail consequence?
I'll help if.
I don't really
no
think
one's
I've
got a
anything
better
that can help
idea?
with this.
Well, so I have a quirk that just says a bit batty, and I'm taking that to mean that I can bat and then fly over, and I'll see if I can. What I'd really like to do is bat to the sausage stall, grab one, just poach one, and then get round to where the dog is.
Okay, so I will say it would be a D12, but you're trying to go somewhere, grab a sausage, and come back.
Yeah,
and I'm
cool.
very much seeing this as being Laszlo from What We Do in the Shadows, going bat and jumping in the air.
Yeah. What?
So I'm going to say D10.
Oh, 3.
Ooh.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so that's a fail for both at one
of us.
level one level worse. Does anybody else want to try to help?
Or
Can I
maybe
help?
I'm wrestling
I'm
with
gonna-
the dibbler.
Can I help? Moreau? Because I am an expert with makeup. I'm going to apply makeup to them to make them look more like a bat.
Yes, you can. I will say, because I am a kind ref, I will give you a D10, but you're taking what was an inconsequential consequence, which has gone up to minor, is going up to major if you help, and fail.
What are you doing?
I'm just, look, if you identify as a bat, I'm just going to help you identify as a bat a bit better.
Quicker.
That's an 8.
Okay, so that's a success, but with the complication. Okay. I think we'll stop the consequence, the assistance train there.
We all died.
No problem. So Big Jock races after the dog. There's a almost cartoon moment as there are two little legs sort of spinning at speed, not going anywhere because he's currently reached where the dog was having a pee. There's Murray goes bat and sort of flap over, grabs the sausage, and there's kind of a sausage laden bat sort of flapping slowly towards, and Hillock goes over and sort of dusts a sort of brush over, over the bat form of Moreau. And the consequence of this is, because it's a major one, I think it's going to be cut me own throat dibbler going, thief, they stole a sausage.
Oh,
I want the watch. I demand justice.
I am a member of the watch. I shall step forward.
Consequence solved.
You're going to arrest us all.
What is the problem?
Oh, that bat stole a sausage.
No, it merely forgot to pay, and I shall pay him.
How much are you paying him?
The fair price for the fair price according to his sign.
Okay. For a moment, he thinks about arguing because they're stealing something and a fair price, compensation. But then recognizes, I think, that you're an Omnian, and he sort of tugs his forelock, takes the money, goes to open up one drawer in his tray, changes his mind mid-pull, pulls another one out, which has got some coins in it, drops the coin in, and you see a Omnian pamphlet in the bottom of his drawer.
Brother, you have seen the light.
He offers a fairly standard Omnian platitude that probably was printed on the thing.
Well, I'm naive enough to completely miss that, so I will just buy another sausage for myself at the same price.
No worries. No worries.
It comes wrapped in a pamphlet.
Yeah.
that's what the other drawer is. It's just full of pamphlets.
Have
No
a luck point.
napkins,
That was funny. Have a luck point.
Excellent.
Thank you.
No problem. So currently, the dog is halfway down the alleyway. So, what you doing?
Well, I'm still going to try and catch the dog.
Okay.
So, let's see. Trying to find something that's a good pun or something. I think he's just gonna lean into his muscle. So he's gonna just try and put his all into catching this thing.
No problem. I'll say that's a D10 because it's not quite so much.
Yeah, it's
Appropriate
close,
for it.
but not quite. I got a 6 again.
Okay, I got 4 this time. So whilst all this is happening, there's these little legs of Big Jock sort of doing the cartoon build up of speed, and then it's kind of and he like almost like he's been fired out of a catapult, zooms down, and there's a oof, and there's just the two of them kind of roll down the alleyway, probably with Big Jock with the dog in a headlock.
How big is this dog? It's not a big dog. It's like a station.
It's like a Yorkie size. It's a tiny little ratty
I'm 6
dog.
inches tall though.
That's right. We just need to stick and establish
Get off!
the dog was.
Get off! Woof! Woof!
I'm resting you in the name of the watch.
But doing what?
You must have been doing something, otherwise you wouldn't have run.
I was running away from a bloody great whatever you is, because you is dangerous. You should be they should muzzle you. Woof.
You are key, not a doogie.
I am.
Now that all this has happened, is there any feasible chance that Stop would know Gaspode?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because we're both made from seepage from the. I kind of like the idea that there's a group just for animals affected by the Unseen University that we meet every Wednesday or something.
Support group,
Yeah, you're gonna have to name a small group now.
There is a rule within this game, which is if someone comes up with something that's just a punt, funny, appropriate, or just such a 1 in a million chance that you just go, it's a 1 in a million chance, but it might just work, and it does. But it work, yes, absolutely. You do have a group, and you know Gaspode.
I love it. I fly over, eventually seeing all this happening. I come shortly behind the bat holding a sausage, and I see Gaspode, and I go, "Coo, you're right, Gaspode."
Oh, hello, Stop. It kind of sort of tries to look behind him to the Big Jock and goes, "Do you know this little blue man?"
He's a constable of the watch, obviously. He's a friend of mine. What are you doing cuddling him for, Jock?
He's a felon.
I'm a dog.
Oh, I can't help you, Gas. It is the 3rd or 5th strike. I don't know.
Come on. Tell me what you've been up to. We're after this wizard.
After a wizard? Oh, I know where there are some of them.
What's he look like?
Well, there was one wizard who, well, he looked like a wizard, but he didn't have a hound.
That's him.
That'll be the one then. Aye.
He was coming this way. He was a bit distracted, and then there was another bloke. I don't know who he is, but there was a bloke with big black spiky boots that was kind of following him. And I tried giving him the old big eye treatment. And he kind of, for a moment there, it's very much the Puss in Boots from the movies, where he's kind of big eyes, but it just doesn't work with this ratty, scrap, dirty, horrible little mutt.
What are you doing?
And
Am I
my
squeezing it too hard?
and my special trick, and he kind of concentrates, and there's a gurgling rumble in his stomach. And he just ignored me, just wasn't interested. So I relieved myself on his leg.
Ah, well. Did you see where he went?
No, but I could follow him because
I'll let him go.
I peed on him.
You can redeem yourself. You could be we'll deputize you on the watch. Lead us to the
dog.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Lead on, dog.
Are you going to let go? Have a luck point for that, by the way, David.
I haven't spent them yet.
He sort of straightens himself out. There's a look almost of the dog trying to sort of square his shoulders and sort of move out in a very well-trained dog look, but it just doesn't work. And he's sort of fast enough to be getting to where he wants to go without being, he's scampering. He's not running. He's not so fast that you can't obviously keep up with him. And every now and again he gets to a corner and he kind of screeches to a halt and looks behind him, and there's kind of a woof. And he leads you through the streets to Mrs. Cake's abode. Mm-hmm. Mrs. Cake, for those not familiar, is a medium bordering on small, who for a small amount of money will read your fortune. Sounds like gas boat's going off again.
Stop strangling him.
I'm trying to invite him.
What are you doing in the bedroom is up to you, Big Job. We're at work at the moment.
But you get to Mrs. Cake's, and he kind of looks at the door and goes, he was in there. It's an older. It's faded a bit. It was last night I peed on him, and then someone's got going past and sort of looking towards you for some of the things that have been said, and Gaspard just kind of goes, "Woof." You didn't hear anything. It is your imagination.
It's true. Dogs would know.
You should see a therapist. About this time, the door opens and a sort of a reasonably sized woman, very flowery clothes, very much the medium Mrs. Cake. What's all this noise about? Oh, hello, Gaspard. Not in my front door, you don't. Can I help you?
Yes.
Officers.
We are looking for a suspect.
Oh, I don't abide suspects in my home.
Well, Gaspard says he's been here. Strange fella, spiky boots or some such.
Oh, Mr. Tuckle.
Possibly smells of wee.
Yes, I did worry about that, but then this is Ankh-Morpork.
Aye.
Mr. Tuckle, he is a very nice gentleman. I don't think he's in today. I haven't seen him since last night.
Oh,
does
would he be?
Mr. Tackle like to read?
Oh, he is a very well-educated man, yes.
Did he have a book on him the last time you saw him?
Good question. No, I didn't see him when he came home last night. I had to launder one pair of his trousers that he left out, which wasn't particularly pleasant. And then she kind of gives Gaspard a baleful look. Would you like to come in, officers?
Please.
You enter into quite a confined building. It's not a lot of. I mean, it's very much. If you took all the stuff that was in it out, it would be a decent sized room and you could all fit in reasonably well. But there are little statuettes. There's a sort of reasonably wide coffee table with what looks like a snow globe with a cloth over it in the middle of the table. A set of cards which charitably could be called a tarot deck. And she kind of brings you in and Mr. Tattle has been only with me for a short period, but he is quite a well established gentleman. He's been, I think he comes into this city every now and again. He did tell me that he had heard good words about my establishment, and she sort of leads you to his room. His room is a decent sized room. Can I have, who's got anything that's perception related that they think would be appropriate?
Don't worry.
Only the eye of the sky, but if depending on how big the room is.
If no one else has anything, I'd say that would be fine, but I'll drop it down to a D10 again because it's a room, not something you could easily fly around.
That makes sense. All right, I'll roll a D10 then. Oh, it's a 5.
Okay, I rolled a 4, so you look around. What you notice this room is there's not a lot in it. There is a bag, a case kind of thing, which is obviously what he lives out of. But you do see on a table, which has got like the wash basin and all that kind of stuff, some bags of powder or something. Apologies, I just need to go AFK briefly, and I am aware it's getting towards 10, so I will try to keep this quick. Back in a moment.
No worries.
Assuming I can detach myself.
No, Big Jock, don't dip your finger in the powder and rub it in your gums.
It's probably just flour. I mean, the woman obviously makes cakes, doesn't she? That's why she's called Miss Cake.
No, she's a medium. An average, you know?
An average. Well, it could be vanilla cakes.
They are quite average. Maybe we should just ask her. She can see the future. Tell us whether we succeed in his case or not.
It's true.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Give her a trial run.
Yeah.
I, of course, do not believe in the powers of so-called mediums.
Is it true what you said about the world being round?
Yes. Why do you doubt this?
Because
I am the most honest.
I
person you've
don't
met.
doubt it. I just think I believe you. I mean, I fly pretty high. I've never seen no elephants. You might be right.
That's because they're underneath us. Dig down out the bottom of the world.
I mean, elephants are pretty big. I'm sure you'd see one of them.
You clearly have not read the leaflet that I placed within your locker.
Oh no, I just use that to do that thing that women do with lipstick and
I've got my glasses wrapped up in everything.
You dab your lipstick on it.
I shall look confused because I have no idea what you are talking about.
I'm not going to ask. Apologies about that. Okay, so back to the thing. So yes, some pouches of powder. There is a pad of paper, or more specifically, there's a pile of sheets of paper, and a small bin nearby with some scraps rolled up and thrown in it.
I shall look at the scraps of paper and read them.
Okay, So, do you have anything that you think would make it easier for you to understand what's written on there? Because it's very, excuse me, it's not plain Ankh-Morporkian.
All I have that's possibly relevant is fully conversant in the scriptures of Om. So I'm clearly used to reading lots of different things. Or the same book multiple times.
I'll give you a D10 for that.
Okay. 5.
Okay, I also rolled a 5. So currently you're getting a complication, but you are succeeding.
Can I use a luck point to make a success?
You can make it a luck point to reduce the level of consequence. There's not a luck point for a re-roll in this game.
Yep.
You can reduce the consequence level, or someone else can spend one to assist you.
What level of consequence is it at the present moment?
Minor, which is not the lowest, but it's.
So I'll just spend one to make it an inconsequential.
Sure, no problem. So you pull out a couple of these sheets. You start sort of unrolling them and flatten them out. A lot of them seem to be weird symbols, similar but not the same as what was on that little padlock, and similar but not quite the same as some of the runes, some of the lettering that you wrote on your pad from that book. And as you're reading through them, you're starting to get a bit of an understanding. You can't quite make out, it's not a language you're particularly familiar with, but it does look old and it looks a bit wrong. And what you will notice is everyone apart from Mighty Praiseworthy, who's busy trying to go through these pages, notices that the corners of the paper are starting to glow a little, and the little bit of shadow from where one of these pieces of crumpled paper is sitting on the table, there's what looks like a tiny arm just extending out from underneath that bit of paper.
Okay. Bivins, there's a wee beastie getting out.
Don't worry about that. Do you understand what it says here? This writing looks very strange.
There's someone coming out of it. Someone very far away.
Oh,
coming out of
tiny
what?
and close.
I am going to lunge at the arm, try to grab it, and wrestle it to the ground.
No problem. Do you want to pitch a trait for me?
I'm going to pitch my core trait. Once a man gets a feegle up his trousers, his time for tribulation is only just beginning.
Okay. I'm going to give you a D12 for that.
Oh, I got a 3.
Yay. Big Jock, unless someone wants to do anything, Big Jock is leaping up onto the table. Is anyone doing anything?
I'll help you, Big Jock. I don't go anywhere without my dwarf bread. So I'm going to take my dwarf bread out of my pocket and lob it at the little thing coming out. Lob it out.
I'm going to give you a D10 for that.
I'm trying not to hit Big Jock. I got a 4. Sorry.
Okay, so that is absolutely the consequence. So Big Jock scrambles up on the table, starts moving towards the sheet of paper. Probably about this time, Mighty Praiseworthy notices this little black arm, almost like the shadow of an arm coming out of underneath the paper. Big Jock goes to leap on it, and there's a bit of a scrap going on there with Big Jock sort of grabbing this and trying to put it in an arm lock, but it's really strong. And then from opposite the room, a piece of dwarf bread lands heavily on the table. There's a crunch as some of this table is broke, as damaged from the bit of bread. And please take the consequence of fecal sandwich.
Who's got? Is that me or?
No, Big Jock has been hit by a lump of dwarf bread.
It's now a fecal sandwich.
What can I see with this? Is this arm continuing to come through?
It is currently fighting with Big Jock. I mean, it's probably about 3 centimeters long.
Well,
it's getting to a shoulder now.
And it wouldn't be the first time an Omnian has overreacted and done something slightly disproportionate. So I shall pull my sword from my belt and say, it is time to use my sword for smiting the infidels like my grandfather used to do. And I shall smite the arm.
Okay, you've drawn a sword. I'm going to say it's a minimum of a major consequence should you fail, because Big Jock is literally there. But I will give you a D12 for that.
Yep. Ooh, 6.
I have rolled a 6 as well. So this is a tie.
Can I spend a luck point to reduce the consequence?
You absolutely can. So it'll become a minor consequence. Let's call it
eagle kebab.
Big Jock flung across the room as this sword comes sweeping down and kind of, I'm guessing probably almost more sweeps across the table than hacks into it. And Big Jock goes flying, and this little black arm, this arm of shadow, kind of is now a smear on the table that kind of fades like a bad memory, like the shadow just, but as too much light gets brought in, the shadow just disappears.
That was something very ungodly.
I nearly had him.
He was reading those words. Words what have power.
Sorry, what was reading those words?
You were reading those words, making that thing.
But I am not a wizard.
Oh, maybe you are. You don't know it.
The spell wants to be spoken.
He's not got a hat either.
He's got a hat in his pocket.
He's got a hat in his pocket, though, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, I suppose so.
I shall take the hat out and put it on top of my constable helmet.
Problem.
Where'd he go?
So.
I'm going to go pick up my precious straw threads. Smashed or something.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about me.
You're next, don't worry.
That must be bits of the spell from the book.
Yeah. It's a page from the book or something. Or he's copied it.
He must have it somewhere. Are there any clues in the writings?
I wonder if there's that Mrs. Cake knows where he's been, where he's gone now. If
she's quite magic, isn't she? She can read the future.
There is no such thing as a medium, but you might want to ask her anyway.
Next to me saying silly things like there's no such thing as wizards and witches.
Okay. We go.
Should we call her up or are we going down?
Yeah.
This is Cake.
Yeah.
Someone
Yes,
else
dear. She wasn't around the corner. She'd gone back to the kitchen. You say Mrs. Cake, and she pops around the corner as if she was already there. Yes, dear.
I was quick.
This frightly one, aren't you?
This fella that's been here. Where's he go?
Oh, he's got lots of business in the city. He does stuff. He's never really told me much about it. I mean, oh dear. And she goes up and starts fussing over the table and sort of carefully folds up the bits of paper and puts them back. Whereas he's just scrunched them and chucked them in the bin, she's folding them into little tiny things and putting them carefully in the bin, and then sort of pulls a very delicate handkerchief out of her pocket, or a little doily, and sort of daintily puts some moisture on it and starts.
That is evidence. Please stop. Please desist.
Well, I will need my room back Well,
Once the watch is finished with it.
Very well, but I will be speaking to Mr. Vimes about this when I see him next.
I'm sure he will be very pleased to hear of our diligence.
So yeah, Mr. Tuttle does business. Last place I heard him going to, where was it? There was a one of the pubs. I don't remember which one.
The Drum.
Could be.
Well, it's nearby.
Was there anything else in this room that we didn't look at? So, as a character, anything else in the room?
There are a couple of pouches of powders or something like that, and his bag of stuff.
Bag of stuff. Rubbish.
You get his bag of stuff. It's okay. Do you recognise these substances?
And she looks at me. No, they look arcane to me, or possibly alchemist.
Yes, just what I thought. And how about these symbols on this? I'll point to the beast later that Mighty's got in his hand. I'm just guessing he's still got it.
That looks very arcane as well. You might want to speak to the wizards about that.
Well, the wizards aren't here at the moment, are they? Do you know anything about it? We don't really understand mediums. Where does your ability come from? Is it learnt in a university or?
I have the gift. I can speak. She sort of, her eyelids flutter. Your grandmother is most disappointed in you. Herrick of the Watch.
Say, Mrs., do you think you can find out maybe where he is with your sight? He must be. Yeah, you're so clever.
I could try, but it does give me the most awful headaches when things don't happen in proper sequence.
Well, I have some femicetanol here that you can have if you want. It cures headaches in women.
So whilst this is going on, what are the rest of you doing? What's Mighty Praiseworthy and Stop and Morroy doing?
I was just waiting to see what would come out of other people searching these his belongings and the powder.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever's dealing with that, or just looking at that with them.
Yeah, I don't think I'm doing anything particular besides that.
Morroy?
I think I'll be with Herlick talking to the medium. I'll see if I can do some persuading, mesmeric stare or whatever. See if I can get her to suck up the headache and just do some magic powers.
Okay, no problem. In which case, I will give you I'm going to say it's a D10.
Nice.
And look, if you want to assist, if she fails, with your
D10. Oh, 9.
Right, it's like gin. I don't need to help.
You got 9. Okay, I got 5. So
9, yeah.
she kind of
Nice.
there's almost the air almost gets a bit staticky. It's not comfortable, and you kind of see her eyes Mrs. Cake's eyes kind of almost go wide and vacant for a second, and then she kind of shakes her head and, very well, if you'd like to join me in the drawing room, and she kind of flounces down the stairs.
Of course, I follow her flounce.
Yeah, I mimic her flounce.
I will stay and continue rummaging through the bag and searching.
The bag,
interesting.
The bag has clothes of varying types. There is some paperwork that has a very strange scroll. You're not entirely sure what the letters are made up of little pictures. Mm-hmm. And there are a varying what look like magical accoutrement, but you think they're mainly it's the stereotypical classic, yeah.
I might take one of those sheets with the writing on it so I can show it to someone else to see if they recognise it.
No problems. No problems.
Yeah, and then I'll probably sniff the pandas.
No problem. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they look like alchemist ingredients, mainly because there's a little tag off of them saying alchemist ingredient, and it's got a name of the ingredient on it. Is anyone else going downstairs with Mrs. Cake apart from Sergeant Baroy and Hillick?
No, I'm going to stay looking around the room as well.
No problem. Stop. Are you going with, or are you?
Yeah, I'll go with.
No problem. So you get down into the drawing room, and she kind of pulls the cloth off of this dome that was in the middle of the table, which is actually a Ankh-Morpork snow globe. And she starts muttering under her breath, and then sort of fluttering of bits of like lacework around the walls, and the curtains sort of flutter a little bit, and her eyes, she sort of grasps her face, and then sort of her hands come away, and there's just white, just completely white. Oh, Archie Tuttle, but not the Duke of Eretor. He is in a place, a dark place. There is blood. There is blood.
But don't use the B word.
And there is markings on the floor of a arcane tape. He has a book. He has a book. It is floating in the air, and he is reading from it. Oh, but the image has changed. It is now dark. He is behind a pub. And there is a young man with that book. But Mr. Tuttle, oh damn Mr. Tuttle, he hits him in the head with a stick and takes that book. And then she kind of grasps her head again, and then when she takes her hands away, her eyes are normal. Oh, my head.
I hand her the Dibbler's sausage bun hot dog. Sorry about the pamphlet. It's wrapped in the pamphlet. Sorry about the pamphlet. This will make you feel better.
She looks at it. Thank you, miss.
You're welcome.
And taking a very delicate paper napkin, carefully wraps the sausage in a bun.
You're welcome.
So, Big Jock, you grab that bit of paper. Mighty praiseworthy. You see Big Jock coming out of the this case with this bit of paper that is bigger than
all that writing. You recognise it?
Should I read this one as well?
I don't know. I didn't know. Doesn't look like the spelling stuff. It's
Okay, I should try and read that as well then.
Okay, so I will say again, because of the same trait as you had last time, let's say that's a D10 again. Just because it does show that you do have some reading.
7.
I got a 6, so no problem. You don't understand exactly what it says, but you do recognise the language because you've seen it written before. This is from the land of, there's a nation which is along the banks of the river Degel. And it is 1 mile wide and 100 miles long. And it's called Degeli Baby, which quite literally means child of the Degel, or children of the Degel. And their main export/import are pyramids and mummies.
Excellent.
I shall relay this to Big Jock.
No problem.
Ah, mummies.
And pyramids.
Aye. How do
And
you transport one of them?
Brick by brick.
on the back of this, now that you finish reading it, you notice that there is an address scrawled in pen on the back.
Aha. What is this address?
12 Loaf Street, Ankh-Morpork.
12 Loaf Street.
Yes, as in bread loaf.
Yeah. Let's go and find the others. We should go to this address, I think.
Aye. Quick.
You go down.
Skip us down.
But this is by this time, Mrs. Cope had finished what she was doing.
Okay.
Um,
Like Sergeant Moreau, that was very intense. There's a lot of information. I have one thing I need to ask you though. Where did you have the bun from? We stole the sausage.
No, I took the whole thing.
I've already stolen a sausage. It's fine. I know where the leaflet come from. Oh, but Arthur Tuttle. Does that sound familiar to you? Or stop.
Well, I
Mr.
don't know.
Tuttle?
I saw that Mighty took a sausage in a bun. Maybe she got another one.
Yeah. I carry a stash.
okay, so Mighty and Big Jock come barreling down the stairs. Most of the noise probably coming from Big Jock, to be fair.
Yeah. We shout out to Loaf Street.
There's a piece of paper here with 12
Arthur
Loaf Street.
Tuttle.
Yeah.
There's a piece of paper here with 12 Loaf Street written on it.
That's obviously where it is, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something's
So we
there.
should go there. Did you
Why
find
else
anything
would
out
a
from
piece-
her?
Yeah, on the way to Loaf Street, I just tell you relay
Yeah.
all the medium's information.
Yep. It's probably about 10-15 minutes walk from Mrs. Cake's abode. You arrive at that address, and it is the outside of a warehouse. And you can hear from inside a voice basically intoning something.
Oh, we're in trouble.
That sounds wrong.
Doing a ritual. Casting spells.
That's you.
Stop shouts.
Um,
Are you just saying your name, or is that the command?
Jock,
Oh, I've
Jock,
how I announce myself.
I'll yell out in a booming voice, "Stop in the name of the law," and you kick the door in at the same time, okay?
Like
And
that.
I shall, as all good preachers, I can be very, very loud when I want to be, and I shall boom out, "Stop in the name of the law."
Okay. So
Right.
is the primary aspect of this getting the door open, or is the primary part of this trying to get someone to stop doing what they're doing? What is the main part of this action?
I think kicking the door in, because
No problem. In which case, D12 for your door breacher.
Okay.
I have rolled an 8.
Oh, I rolled another 6.
Okay. So, given that this was Andy saying, I do this, you do that, if you wish to, Andy, you can spend a luck point and roll. Give me a trait that's appropriate for this, for your shouting stopping the name of the law.
or could I just add my boot to the door?
Do you have a trait that's appropriate to it?
Built like a brick privy.
Yep, you can have a D12 as well then.
So
And your-
does that cost a luck point as well?
Cost a luck point to assist you.
Okay.
And you want to roll a 9 or higher, preferably.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
I think the door is. If you're coming for a consequence, I think the door is quite weak, and my leg has just gone clean through it.
Okay.
Stuck.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So somehow, basically, Big Jock races at the door and goes to break it down, hits it right in the middle, where it's a set of double doors and there's a big, thick concrete post.
Ooh.
But when Mighty Praiseworthy goes to kick it down to assist. Foot goes straight through, splinters, and currently bits of pointy wood are digging into trousers, and he's stuck.
Right, I think I've got a consequence of broken toes or something.
Fractured femur.
Me toes.
Okay.
I should be limping.
So, what are the rest of you doing?
If there's any space in between where this door's splintered, can I just bat through the little gap?
Yeah, I'll say that.
Right,
Yeah.
Bat.
I was going to see if there was a way to, like a window open or something like that to pigeon through.
I was going to check the doors to see if they opened outwards.
Looking up. Okay. So we'll go in order. Looking up, you see a dark sort of hole in the what looks like an open window further up. You go flying up. I rolled a dice for a luck roll, effectively. And you know how when sometimes a pigeon will wander into a shop because the door's open and then they try to leave and
they can't.
Yeah, but it's the other way. You're hitting the window for flavour, for amusement. However, Gerlach goes over to the door, not the one that Mighty Praiseworthy has his leg through, but the other part of it, and it does indeed open outwards.
Perfect.
I just start hopping backwards, pulling the other door open.
No problem. And looking inside, there is a glowing magical symbol on the floor. There is a man there with black spiky boots, a book floating in front of him, and he is intoning something, kind of eyeing to his left to where you're coming in. And in the center of this magical circle is a black circle, which is clearly not part of the floor or the symbol he's drawn, and there are arms slowly pulling their way out of this circle as if it was a hole in the floor. So this system does not have a combat, it doesn't have initiative, it doesn't have hit points. You tell me what you're going to try to do, and we roll the dice and narrate from there. So what do people want to do? I'm quite happy to say by this point Mighty Praiseworthy has his leg back.
Yeah.
Well, I think I will go last after the others because I will pull my leg out.
No.
I'll be back in just a sec.
Sure.
That's what I'm just doing, pulling leg out first.
No worries.
Big Jock will be charging in as is manical wants.
Okay.
I'm going to get my trusty dwarf bread ready to lob.
No problem. Stop.
Can I have a trait which is a tasty snack if you don't move fast enough, and I want to be really, really quick to avoid this thing coming out of the book, but I want to sort of see if I can swoop down and attack the book or like grab the book in some way to stop the guy, interrupt him from reading.
Okay, Maroy.
I would like to bat right up to the guy's face and then unbat person and just like, tackle him round the head or whatever to try and like put him off what he's doing.
No problem. And Andy, what's your intent?
I think I will run over, pick him up and throw him down the black hole.
Okay. No problem. Okay, so we'll start with Big Jock. What is it you're attacking? Let's start there.
I was going to attack the things.
Okay.
So I'm going to go rush up and try and stamp on all the arms climbing out.
No problem. Pitch me a trait.
I'm going to scream, "You'll never take our trousers!" And in full Braveheart mode, just charging, wildly flailing his sword and stomping on arms.
Okay, where is that on the sheet?
That's my pixie quirk.
Okay, right, yeah, no problem. That's fine. Yep,
Seen
cool.
entirely too much brave work. Pretty
Yeah,
fun.
no problem. So I will say that is good. Yeah, we'll give you a D20.
Okay. Right. I roll.
Okay.
I
Right.
trip and fall in the hole.
Okay, let's quickly scroll this down. So big jock
Not helped by my broken toes. Probably.
consequence. Okay, so here, look, you were the one that was next. So you're you've got your dwarf bread. What you throwing it at?
What am I throwing it at? I'm throwing it at the man.
Okay,
The man chanting.
no problem. So I'll give you.
Sorry. I go, you're toast, mate. Ready or not, here I come. As I love my life.
Excellent.
No problem. I'm going to give you a D10. Andy, I'm aware that you have other things you need to be doing. So if you need to,
Yeah,
then...
this one. I'm getting myself ready. I have to go in about 6 or 7 minutes.
No problem. Okay, so we'll try.
Oh, 9.
Okay, no problem. You throw this dwarf bread. It hits him solidly, and he kind of staggers back. The book is still there, but he is kind of flailing. Okay, so next was Stop, I believe.
Yeah.
So you're going to try and grab the book. So
yeah,
I'm going to give you a D10 because of your quick thing, but also because of reasons which actually probably won't make a difference.
7.
I rolled a 1. No problem. Stop flaps over to the book, grabs it in his feet, and it doesn't seem to want to move. I mean, it's the wings flapping, and it's kind of the whole thing is shaking, and then eventually it starts moving, but you're not moving the direction you want to. You're kind of almost moving around the circle, and you can see the markings on the floor rotating around. Sergeant Murray.
Yeah, so I unbat and grab the guy around the face. Bear hug the guy.
No problem. What trait was it you want to use?
I would like to use. I could either use a vampire from Borogravia, or I quite like, just because I'm virtually indestructible doesn't make me armor.
Okay, I think the first one, and we'll say that's a D10.
Nice. Oh, 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Moroy, consequence. It's all down to mighty praiseworthy.
No pressure.
Well, I got to guess at what the consequence for Morrow might be if I succeed in this. So I run in and I pick up. I will try and pick him up, which I think might well be with Sergeant Morrow as well, and then throw him into the sort of this black circle in the middle that things are coming out of.
No problem. And you're using your built like a big privy?
Yes. Or possibly, if it looks vaguely religious, worship no god if it is not on.
Actually, yeah, I'll go with that. D12.
Oh no! 1.
Right.
Excellent.
Okay.
As Richard knows, I am the shittest dice roller around.
Okay.
Brilliant.
So, Big Jock jumps forward, starts grasping at these arms, which actually start grasping him. Herlock throws the bread, knocks the guy backwards. Stop grabs the book and starts desperately trying to fly away. Moroy bats in and kind of, he isn't where she's expecting him to be, and she's kind of unbalanced. And then Mighty Praiseworthy comes over, goes to grab him, grabs Moroy, and kind of goes to throw, and just you all end up in a pile. So, Big Jock, I'm going to give you a what's that? Well, that would probably be a big bruising. You've been given a big bruising. And Moroy, we will say that you have At the moment, the B word is really in your mind because as he's fallen, but the dwarf bread hitting him, he's got a bloody forehead, a gushing bloody forehead. He finishes the spell finishes because he virtually finished and you didn't stop him, and rushing out of this hole are creatures from the demon dimensions, or the dungeon dimension, sorry. Because of time and because of needing to keep this done, it is a nightmare. Lots of watch are called in. There's a number of other people coming in and assisting. It's a really hard fought fight, but you do finally manage to defeat the dungeon dimension creatures. He, however, has scuttled off. Wipe 2. You stand in the office of the patrician. Commander Vimes stands ramrod straight. Even Nobby is slouching less. Lord Veterinary, standing with his back to you all, states, "The Arch-Chancellor is beside himself and the librarian is bereft. Not to mention the damage done by these creatures." He turns to Vimes. "I believe these individuals might be more suited for traffic duties, though I realise that Constable Stop already is." Turning to you, he states simply, "Don't let me detain you." The scene changes to one showing Archie settling down for a meal with a very disappointed look on his face that the ritual didn't go to plan. The view pulls back, but before the view reaches anything else, there is a whistling noise and he stiffens. A crossbow bolt sticking out the side of his head. Attached to the end of it is a piece of paper which looks like a guild receipt. Faded black.
Awesome.
So, thank you all for joining me.
One slight addendum.
Mhm.
The patrician discovers later on there's a pamphlet on his desk.
No
Yeah,
problem.
during that meeting, it was a stand-in pigeon that Stop asked because all pigeons look alike.
No problem. So, thank you everyone for joining me. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you for regular scheduled gaming subsequently. Goodbye.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Richard.
Hey.
Bye.
Recording stopped.